वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Hare Krishna. I welcome everyone to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. May I know who all are on the call today?
Hare Krishna Mataji, then with Pranam, all glories to Shri Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, Samadhi, Sambhav Vaishnavas, this is Kirti Dasundari Dasi. Thank you, Mama Mataji, for the beautiful recitation.
Hare Krishna. Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining, taking care,
Hare
taking care
Krishna.
of everything, and giving us your valuable association. Thank you also to Mamataji for the very beautiful recitation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, that were pranam. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Bhagavata.
Hare Krishna, Neeta Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining us and giving us your most valuable association. Welcome to the conference call, Mataji. Anyone else would like to introduce themselves? Okay. I'll start the recording and we can pull up the quote for today. Hare Krishna. I welcome everyone to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you, Uma Mataji, for the very, very beautiful recitation. Today is 3rd February, and Srila Prabhupada said, you said that your job is Maya, but you must know that Maya is illusion. As soon as there is absence of Krishna consciousness, that is Maya. But you are working just to help and push Krishna's interest. Therefore, it is not Maya. Anything used in Krishna consciousness is real renouncement. This was spoken by His Divine Grace in a letter to Jaya Govinda on February 3rd, 1970. Thank you to devotees for joining us and giving us your most valuable association. We are very fortunate to have our esteemed speaker today, His Grace Gaursundar Charan Prabhu. We all look forward to his classes and his interesting questions. So get ready. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, you can now take over the call. And we are discussing from Chaitanya Bhagavata. It's going to be Antya khanda, chapter 5, and verses 381 through 394.
Hare Chaitanya Charan Prayer. O Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Ve Namaha Namah Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Green. Yes. So we're going to continue reading Chaitanya Bhagavat from text number 381. Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ajanulambita Bhujau Kanakavadhato Sankirtane Kapitaro Kamalayataksho Vishwambharo Dvijavaro Yugadharmapalo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro. Welcome to the beautiful discussion, to the discussion about the beautiful pastimes of our Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. And today we are going to continue from text number 381. So, we are discussing about Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Where is Lord Nityananda Prabhu coming from? Okay. Where did he stay in Raghav Pandit's home? Where was that? That was Panihati. Panihati. He's 3 months, Lord Nityananda Panihati Dham, and he had such amazing pasal heard in the last few sessions. So now Lord has come to the home of Gadadhar Das, who is his disciple. So text number 381. गोपी भावे बाह्य नहीं गदाधर दासे निरवधि आपना के गोपी है ना वासे. Gadadhar Das had no external consciousness, for he was absorbed in the mood of a gopi and always considered himself to be a gopi. Very interesting. Gadadhar Das. It does not say Dasi. Gadadhar Das, gopi. Purport. By His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, Prabhupada Goswami ki jai. Srila Gadadhar Das always remained absorbed in his constitutional position and did not externally accept the dress of a Sakhi. He certainly was always absorbed in the gopi, but he did not display duplicity by wearing a gopi's dress. So, very important term is used here, constitutional, and this is very important to know for everyone, that there is a constitutional position. So we, as we know from Bhagavad Gita, we are not this body, we are the spirit souls. So we have a inherent nature, which is spiritual. And we have a spiritual position, spiritual form, spiritual name, and a spiritual relationship with the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And that form is right now in a unmanifested seed-like form. It's because that is what a Baddha Jiva is. But in case of Sri Gadadhar Das, because he had the association of powerful spiritual master, who is the supreme spiritual master, who is the Guru Tattva, who is the gurus of all the gurus, and who is the empowering force behind. So he, obviously, it's no surprise that he realized his constitutional position, and that was of a Sakhi. Another very important point here, Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta said that he did not display duplicity by wearing a gopi's dress. So this is very important because here there is a reference to the Apasampradayas, and we will discuss about it. So let's continue. 382. Dana khanda lila shuni nityananda raya ye nitya kare nataha varnana na yaya. Well, Lord Sri Nityananda Prabhu heard topics of the Dana Lila beyond description. Who was reciting the Dana Lila? We heard this yesterday. Who was reciting the Dana Lila? Dana Lila is the tax pastimes, where Lord Krishna charged Radharani the milk and yogurt and other milk products to the marketplace. And he would say, I'm the toll collector. What is that? Yes, Haribol, Jai. So Madhav Prabhu was reciting the Dana Lila, and Lord Nityananda, being the Supreme Vaishnava, he got absorbed in that Lila himself, and he danced in a way that is beyond description. Who is saying this? This is being told by Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is very affectionate towards Lord Nityananda, also being his disciple. Prema bhakti vikare rayata ache nama sab prakashiya nitya kare anupama. He displayed all the transformations of ecstatic love as he danced incomparably. Now there are 8 types of satvika bhavas, symptoms, and 33 kind existing ecstatic symptoms. So these 2 lines are loaded lines. And it is like these can be discussed for a very, very long time, hour in 1 hour. But we will try to understand what these two terms mean and see how they fit in with the rest of the understanding of rasa, so we can better appreciate what is going on here, right? So what the two terms sattvic bhava and sanchari bhava means. Okay, I'm going to the presentation mode. Okay, so the first thing we have to understand is the rasa tattva. What is rasa? So rasa is mellow, or also called mellow, is this relationship or spiritual mellow that individual jiva, individual conscious entity, Krishna, experience between them. And it is a unique relationship every jiva has with Krishna. And the sweet that comes from that relationship, exchange of affection, that exchange of love, that is called rasa. Discussing rasa because the sanchari sattvic bhavas, the term that were mentioned there, they are a composition of rasa that help. And we use the term bhava repeatedly in this discussion. So bhava is what? It's a transcendental emotion. It's also called spiritual ecstasy or transformation of heart. So basically, it's what the devotee experiences while they are experiencing the relationship with the Lord and what they go through in their heart. And by the way, this is our goal, right? Our goal is not going to heavenly planets. Our goal is not getting liberated and being Rupanugas, right? So those who are Rupanugas, even going to Vaikuntha is not the goal. It is this experiencing the supreme Goloka planets. No, not that none of the other goals are not glorious. They are great. They are, and many of them are transcendent. Our goal. So now, what about the rasas of this world? All the rasas, without exception, no exceptions. All the rasas of this world are perverted reflections of the different types of rasas that Jiva has with Krishna. And this point we should understand very clearly. No relationship in this world, especially when they are not centered around Krishna, right? It is possible that there is a family or there is a father and child or there are friends who have the relationship is centered on Krishna, and then it becomes spiritualized, right? It's not spiritual yet because they don't know what their spiritual forms are, but it's spiritualized. So it's self-realization. But if there is no Krishna, then all are perverted reflections. Jiva is trying to take the position to Krishna and looking for relationships and vice versa. And that's why when there are two competitors, you don't really have good relationship. It will be mostly a transaction. But having said that, now let's get back to the sweetness. So relationship with Krishna. What are the ingredients of rasa? What helps a jiva experience rasa with Krishna? So there are 5 ingredients that are listed. Vibhava, which is the cause of tasting. What is the cause? What makes the taste appear? That's a cause. Anubhava. Anubhava are the voluntary visible symptoms where intelligence is still functional that causes the rati or the sthai bhava to be a joy in the heart to be evident is anubhava. Sattvic bhava, one of the terms that was used in the purport. These are the bhavas that are born from sattva, which is stimulated in relation to Krishna, and these are involuntary. So anubhava and sattvika bhavas are very closely related and sometimes overlapping. The only bhavas are involuntary, is out of control. But anubhava, the intelligence is still functional, and they are voluntary or semi-voluntary and controlled. Sattvika bhavas cannot be controlled. Sanchari bhavas, another term used in the purport. These are the transitory bhavas. What does it mean? We'll discuss that in the next slides. But these are like waves in the nectar ocean. So think of the nectar ocean as the last one, which is the sthai bhava, which is the permanent relationship, permanent bhava, or the spiritual emotion that every jiva has in relation with Krishna. And sanchari bhavas are like the waves in that nectar ocean that nourish that ocean. So, what is the cause? We said vibhava is the cause of tasting the rasa or spiritual mellows. So there are tana, which is the support. Uddipana is what gives rise to it. Alambana has 2 parts, Vishaya and Ashraya. Vishaya is for whom is the rasa experienced. So the answer is our dear Lord Sri Krishna. And who experiences the rasa? Is the devotee or the pure devotee of the Lord. And devotees to the extent that they are pure. Now be noted here, even though we have listed here Vishaya as Krishna and Ashraya as the Lord, but Lord also has affection for his devotee. So in that sense, for Lord Krishna, and for in that case the devotee is the Vishaya, but in general, this is how we categorize it. Uddipana, what causes rasa to become awakened? So anything that is related to Krishna. Could be Krishna's qualities. We are hearing of Dana Leela, like our Lord Sri Nityananda Prabhu was. He saw Krishna, and then he entered into Leela, he lost control. Or it could be Krishna's fragrance. So when pure devotees experience Sfurti or appearance of Krishna, they experience the fragrance of Krishna, and it cannot be compared to any, no matter how expensive or how wonderful. Fragrance is coming from the transcendental platform. Similarly, other things like flute or Krishna's conch, or just looking at Tulasi dekhi jurai pran, Madhava toshani jani, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in his song, right? So Allah is the support, Uddipana is the cause. Then Anubhava. What is Anubhava? Anubhava we just now discussed, voluntary symptoms. So basically they make the Rati or the Sthai Bhava, the permanent relationship with Krishna, evident. What are the symptoms? They can be controlled. That's the important point. Eye movements, smiles, frowns, bodily movements, crying loudly, laughing loudly, deep breathing. So the joy in the heart is so much that it manifests in the form of these symptoms. And this happens for those who are in that state, exalted states of high emotion, like bhava and prema. Or sometimes there can be sfurtis in asakti stage. Sattvika bhavas. This was the term. So the sattvika bhavas are the bhavas that are born from the chitta that is stimulated. These are involuntarily. And those are the examples. There's another slide. Yeah, so these are the examples of the sattvika bhavas. They are not consciously performed. They come from the soul's ecstasy, and the prana is out of control. When the prana is in control, what happens? Our breathing, our digestion, our movements, they all happen normally, how we are trying to do it. When they are not in control, because human body is not designed to handle prema, it is too intense. So then these happen. Paralysis, choking of the voice, trembling, changing of color. And if as we have read Chaitanya Charitamrita, and even in Charitamrita more, Chaitanya and Bhagavat less, even in Bhagavata many places, these symptoms are mentioned for many devotees. So these are sattvika bhavas. Then sanchari bhava. Sanchari bhavas, they are also called vyabhichari bhava. The split of the word is vi is distinctly, abhi is moving, and chari is towards. Towards what? The sthai bhava, which is the ocean, which is the next. So they are moving towards, that means they are nourishing the sthai bhava. What are they? They're temporary. They are temporary emotions or temporary bhavas or ecstasies that come and go, like dainyata. One thinks oneself very unqualified. Oh, how can I attain Krishna? Like in the Gopi Geet, right? The gopis say that, we cannot attain you. Or in Shikshashtakam, Lord Chaitanya prays that Mama Janmani Janmanishware Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahaituki Tvai. That means birth after birth. What does it mean, birth after birth? That means I am not qualified to attain you, my dear Lord. But birth after birth, no matter how you treat me, no matter what you do to me because of my past, or whatever happens to me, I'm yours. I will always remember you. And similarly, some of the other emotions that a devotee experiences, like remembrance or finding meaning, self-disgust. And there are 33 of them, 33 sanchari bhavas. And then this is the sthai bhava. What is sthai bhava? This is the permanent spiritual emotion, relationship, or ecstasy that every jiva has with Krishna. Now, in the verse before, we just read that Gadadhar Das had the spiritual form of Gopi, right? So that is a mukhya bhav. So there are 5 mukhya sthai bhavas or ratis. There are 5: Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. So Shanta is you are in great, you are completely in prema with the Lord, and you are appreciative of the Lord, but there is that's it. There is no service relationship, but you just love the Lord. You're like a tree, or you're like that. Dasya is the servant relationship where you actually serve the Lord. Sakhya is friendly relationship, like the picture on the right. The friends are playing with Krishna. They're saying, I'm going to give you a laddu, but they're going to actually put a bit of flour, and there'll be laughter after that. So what's that laughter? That's the secondary rasa. Vatsalya is mother, father, right? Or like Queen Kunti. They are in Vatsalya bhav, parental affection. And Madhurya is the relationship of the wives of Krishna and the gopis. So Gadadhar Das was in the Madhurya rasa with the Lord. And Lord Nityananda is in multiple rasas because he's his elder brother, so he has Vatsalya bhav. He's also friend, he plays with Krishna, so he's also Sakhya. And then he becomes Ananga Manjari, expands as Ananga Manjari and enters into Krishna's pastimes and have Madhurya. So Lord Nityananda is is leading by example in multiple arenas. Then there are the 7 secondary rasas, which are laughter, chivalry, horrible, fear, compassion, anger, and wonder. Like when Mother Yashoda saw the universal form in Krishna's mouth, she said, Kana, matti khaya, did you eat dirt? No, Amma, no, Maya, I did not eat any dirt. No, but everyone is complaining against you. No, they are all lying. I did not eat dirt. Okay, open your mouth. Then Kana opened the mouth and she saw, what is this? The whole universe and myself included? Like, what's going on? Right? So that was Adbhuta, momentary Adbhuta. And then again, she's covered. She's like, oh, this boy does something, but he's my boy. He'll be hungry. I have to feed him. So this is the Mukhya and Gauna. And this is what our goal is in the spiritual world. This is the constitutional position in one of these 5 main rasas and any of the 7 secondary rasas, multiple. So, Bhakti rasa. What is rasa then? So when this Sthai Bhava or the Rati is nourished by all these elements, all these 5. What were the 5? Vibhava, Anubhava, Satvika Bhava, Sanchari Bhava, and Sthai Bhava. Then it fully manifests the Bhakti rasa, which is the complete devotional experience in the primary relationships. And why these rasa is there? Because Krishna is Anandamayo Abhyasat. By nature, our Lord is full of bliss. And this is the picture of the Dana Lila pastime that our Lord Nityananda was listening to when Madhavananda Ghosh was singing it. So, going back. So now we understand what was going on. When these terms are used, there are 8 types of Sattvika Bhavas, which are involuntary or transcendental symptoms, and 33 kinds of Sanchari Bhavas, which are like the waves in the ocean that nourish the Sthai Bhava, which is the primary relationship with Krishna. So what does the verse say? He displayed all the transformations of ecstatic love as he danced incomparably. So now we can appreciate that what were the transformations of ecstatic love. At least we have some idea. So all those Anubhavas and the Sattvika Bhavas and the Sanchari Bhavas were bubbling with ecstasies in the body of our dear Lord Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Okay, continue. Text number 384. Vidyutera praya nitya gatira bhangima kiba se adbhuta bhuja chalana mahima. As Lord Sri Nityananda Prabhu danced, the movement of his bodily limbs appeared like lightning. How wonderful was the movement of his arms. Kiva se nayana bhangi ki sundara hasa, kiba se adbhuta shira kampana vilasa. How wonderful was the movement of his eyes, right? We saw eyes, movement of the eyes, anubhavas. How beautiful was his smile, laughing, smiling. And how wonderful was the swaying of his head. And some of this may be voluntary, some of this will be involuntary. Ekatra kariya dui charana sundara kiba yode yode lamfa dina manohara. How wonderfully he jumped about. keeping his two beautiful feet together. So our Lord Nityananda Prabhu is wonderfully experiencing all the joy of Krishna Prem and showing us by example, and he's inviting us. Ye dike chahe na Nityananda prema rase, sei dike stri purushe Krishna rase bhashe. The men and women, in whatever direction Lord Shri Nityananda Prabhu cast his love-filled glance, all floated in the mellows of love for Krishna. So this is the power of association of a pure Vaishnava. Because if by any good fortune, by any past desire, piety, mercy, blessings, prayers, if you can somehow get association of a Vaishnava, like who is empowered by Lord Nityananda Prabhu, then we will be floating in the mellows of love for Krishna. Mellow, right? Rasa. Krishna rase bhase. Rasa. That is what we are all hankering for. Until we experience that, any attempt to fulfill ourselves in this world will be full of deficiencies, will always be empty. No matter how full we make our container, at the end of the day, it will be empty because we are not giving what it needs. Fish out of water needs water. You can give it Coca-Cola, you can give it nice candies, you can give companion, you can give nice music. It will not be happy. Fish needs the water. Our water is Krishna Rasa. Until we experience it, we are not going to be satisfied. And that is what Lord appears again and again and shows his pastimes for our example. Hina se karena kripa drishti atishaya paranande deha smriti karanatha kaya. His glance was filled with such mercy that everyone forgot their own bodies in ecstasy. So for this glance of a Vaishnava, let's see if we can look at one song. So this is the song Ei Baro Karuna Koro, or the official name of the song is Vaishnave Vignapti. That means prayer to the Vaishnava. It is written by the amazingly powerful, glorious Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur, who was considered the incarnation of the heart or love of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He received the love of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from the Padma river when he took a dip. So that Acharya, after receiving all the mercy and the initiation from his spiritual master Loknath Goswami, has written this wonderful, wonderful song for our guidance, direction, illumination. So it is worth knowing. So let's look at this. Ei baro karuna koro Vaishnava Gosa Patita Pavana Toma Bine Keho na. What does it say? Ei baro, today. Karuna Koro. Please do some karuna. Please show some mercy. To whom is saying? Vaishnava Gosai. Oh, my dear Vaishnava Gosai. Oh, my dear great Vaishnava Thakur. Oh, my dear Lord Sri, pure devotee of the Lord, who is so dear to Lord Krishna. Please show some mercy on me today. So this is the mood towards Vaishnava. Patita Pavana Toma Bine Keho Nai. There's no one else without you who can deliver the patitas. Who is patita? Patita means fallen. So patita pavana. Pavana means purifying. Patita pavana tuma bine keho nai. No one else. No amount of charity work, no amount of welfare activities, no number of organizations, United Nations, UNESCO, UNICEF, United Security Council. These are all just for namesake. They can at best cater to the needs for the body, but they cannot address the real problem of the heart. So they cannot deliver the patitas. you can feed the poor. But if after eating and having a shelter, if they're still doing the same low consciousness, what's the point? So patita pavana. So begging to Vaishnava Gosai. Then Jaharani kate gele papa dure ja emonada yala prabhu keba kotha pa Jahara nikate gele. Jahara means whose. Nikate means going close. Nikate gele. When you go close to him, what happens? Papa dure jai. The sin goes away, far away. Because the body of a pure devotee is not material. It is completely spiritual. Because it is spiritual, it is, we know from Ishopanishad, right? Sa paryagat shukram akayam avranam ashnaviram shuddham apapa vidham. So, avranam apapa vidham. It is, and Srila Prabhupada writes, it is antiseptic and it is prophylactic. It cannot be touched by sin and it can purify impure things. Impurity cannot touch it and impurity cannot stay in its presence. It will get purified. So, when a Vaishnava who is in love with Krishna, empowered by the power of Lord Sri Nityananda Prabhu, being who is the Guru Tattva, then Papa Dureja. If you go near to a pure devotee, so this should be our desire, that I should get association of a Shuddha Vaishnava. Because Jahara Nikate Gile Papa Dureja. Emana Dayala Prabhu Keba Kotha Pai. Where can you find such a merciful person? You may be the richest philanthropist, but how can you help anyone? You yourself are bound to death. But a Vaishnava is not bound by death. He does not live in the body. He is in the body only to give his association to the fallen people of this world, out of his own mercy. Next. Gangara parasha haile paschate pava darshane pavitra koro eito maragun. Gangara parasha. What is Ganga? Ganga is the transcendental river Ganges that flows through northern India. Parasha hoile, touch of Ganga, paschate pavana. Why it purifies? Why does Ganga purify? Because it appears from the spiritual world. Whose lotus feet caused the Ganga to appear in this world?
Vamandev.
Vamandev, yes. When Vamandev extended his legs to capture the three worlds, for the pleasure of his devotee, the demigods, and for delivering his devotee, the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj. Then there was a hole in the universal shells, and Ganga appeared, manifested from the spiritual world. And it was held on whose jata? Sunil Prabhu.
Lord Shiva.
Yeah, Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva held on his jata, but otherwise the whole earth would be destroyed. The force of Ganga is so strong that the earth would be destroyed. So, it is coming from the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared as Vamandev. It is held in the jata of the Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. And that touching the lotus feet, touching the head of Vaishnava, oh my God, this is too much purification. And then it appears on this earth. So, Gangara Parasha. So, when you take dip in the Ganges at the time of Magha Mela, Kumbh Mela, or any other time, Paschate Pavan. It will purify you. But then, Darshane Pavit. But now this is the glory of Vaishnava, because he is carrying Krishna in his heart, right? So transcendently, he is more powerful. You don't even have to touch the Vaishnava. Just Darshane. That is what we read, right? What did Lord Nityananda do? By his darshan, everyone became delivered. So this is that line. Darshane Pavitra Karo. Darshane Pavitra Karo. Eito Maragu. just by their darshan. Now, darshan is of two types. One is you take darshan of the Vaishnava. Second is they look at you. Both are darshan. So, if a Vaishnava, but for that we have to be fertile. So, we should just keep ourselves fertile. How we should keep ourselves fertile? Trunadapi Sunichena. Just be humble, chant our rounds, pray to Krishna, regulate the principles, and Krishna will show mercy. We will get the darshan of Vaishnava. They will look upon us compassionately, and we will be able to receive it, right? Seed is given. Seed is everywhere. Water falls everywhere, but doesn't grow everywhere. Seeds don't fructify in all places. The land has to be fertile. So we have to just keep fertile land. Then darshane pavitra karo. We should be eagerly looking for that Vaishnava association, for the Vaishnava, and we should respect everyone. We should respect all the Vaishnavas. We should respect all the non-devotees. We should respect all the animals. We should respect all the plants. And we should know my only goal, experience the Krishna rasa, Krishna prema. I want to experience what are those bhavas. I want to experience what is my sthai bhava. I want to my spiritual form. When that hunger comes in the heart, then our sadhana will become very strong. Because sadhana, what is sadhana? Sadhana is practice. Practice for what? Practice for what? Practice to go back to Godhead, like in the sense of liberation. Then it's mukti. For that, you don't have to work so hard. Even the demons get liberation. But Krishna prema is that sadhana, for which you should be ready of effort. Lifetime after lifetime. Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti ahetuki. Whether you affectionately meet me, whether you ignore me, my dear Lord Shri Krishna, I am yours. You are my Lord birth after birth. And I know I'm not qualified. I know I don't deserve. But I have only you. So where will I go? I will only look to you. I will only pray to you. I will keep on serving. Someday, hopefully, when all the Vaishnavas who are there around me will head, when they go and when they, like this fallen soul also served me, then you will be merciful. And then you will take me also to the, someday you will also call me, right? That all the Vaishnavas around me will go back to Godhead. My dear Lord Krishna, this devotee also, and he was very sincere, and Krishna will make us qualified and take us back to God. So this is the mercy of. Then fourth, after mercy comes warning. Haristhane aparadhe tare harinam. Haristhane aparadhe tare harinam. Harinam is the holy name. Harir nameva kevalam. Kalau nastyeva gatiranyatha. There is no other way. So हरिस्थान अपराध, बहुत अपराध बन गया. डीटी सेवा तो अपराधी है. डीटी सेवा ही नहीं, अपराध. हर एक ना क्लेनलीनेस पता है, ना वी डोंट हैव भक्ति, द एटिकेट, व्हाट इज वेदास वी डोंट नो, व्हाट भक्ति विलास तो कभी देखा नहीं, वी हैव नेवर सीन दैट, वी डोंट नो व्हाट आर दीस थिंग्स, राइट? व्हाट इज दैट, केशवाय नमः, just whatever little bit we know, we just do that. DT seva is less of a seva, and right, we don't know Vaishnava etiquette, we don't know how to deal. Senior devotees come, we don't know how to deal with them, how to affectionately receive them. We don't know nothing, we don't know anything. So haristane aparad, so much aparad ban gaya in serving the not to the offense to the Vaishnava, but offense to the Lord, of lack of proper understanding, right? Or proper DT seva nahi kar rahe, holy name bhi hai. Then holy name will deliver. Holy name will deliver from the offenses against the Lord. But then what? Tomasthane aparadhe nahi paritra. Offense against the Vaishnava, there is no deliverance. So this is not like a scare. This is more like alert. We should become alert. Alert in the sense of being humble. Consciously, there should not be any offense against the Vaishnava. There should not be any ill will towards Vaishnava. Now, this will happen if we respect everyone, if we respect the devotees who are around us, if we respect the authorities, if we respect the, whoever Krishna has arranged for our guidance in this world, if we respect the office colleagues as from a distance, we don't have to associate, respect, non-devotee relatives from a distance. You don't have to associate, but there's no ill will towards anyone. Then chances are very less that for a exalted Vaishnava we will commit offense, right? So this is a practice of non-offense. This is how our life should be. This is how our thinking should be. This is how our eating, sleeping, defending, everything should be non-offensive. Then there will be no offense. But if offense is committed consciously, having ill regard, then we are helpless. Tomasthane aparade nahi. Why? Why? If you commit offense, if you have ill feelings towards the Lord, Lord will say, no problem, my child, you chant the holy name, I will take care of you. But Vaishnavas are so dear to the Lord, so we should be extremely careful. All our antenna should go up. To write our board exams, how alert we are. That, because my parents on this, or when we are going for an interview. Depends, let me be fully alert, fully aware, fully focused, fully conscious. Or, let's say it's your daughter's wedding or son's wedding. You'll be fully conscious. Oh, I have to take, there should not be any misunderstanding. Everyone should be taken, fed properly. So these are worldly things. But we should be as much or double or times, whatever is our capacity, alert in presence of Vaishnava. So then there will be no aparance. Tumara hridaye sada Govinda Vishram Govinda kohena mora Vaishnava para. Tomara hriday. So in the Vaishnava Thakur's heart, Govinda is taking rest. One time, I think it was Jadurani Devidas Mataji, Jadurani Devi Mataji. She was a beautiful painter. So she was part of the painting team of ISKCON when the BBT was formed. So she went to Prabhupada and she was supposed to draw the pictures. So she had the assignment to draw Paramatma in the heart. So she went to Srila Prabhupada and said, Srila Prabhupada, is the Paramatma in the heart standing or sitting? So Srila Prabhupada said, you have to fast for 3 days to find to receive the answer to that. So she said, oh, fast for 3 days. Okay, she noted down and she went. She was like, okay, I need 3 days and I'll come back. half an hour later, Srila Prabhupada called Jadurani. Okay, Jadurani Mataji came. Jai senses. Yes, Srila Prabhupada. If you have a spiritual master, you don't have to fast for 3 days. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so then what did Srila Prabhupada say? Prabhupada says, Paramatma is standing in the heart because our heart is so dirty that Lord cannot sit in there. So he's standing. So that is why you see in all our ISKCON books, in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, wherever Paramatma, he is standing. Friends, on the chariot with Arjuna, Krishna is sitting. Voice is sitting, but Paramatma is standing. So here, Tomara hridaye sada Govinda Vishram. Govinda is relaxed. With his devotee's heart, Krishna is relaxing. Why? Because devotee is completely clean in the heart, full of love. He's offering all the time. My dear Lord, here is Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. My dear Lord, I'm doing this work for your service. I'm taking care of the family for your service. I'm taking care of the community for the nation. I'm fighting in the battlefield. I'm doing my doctor profession, doing my IT work. I'm doing my whatever work. As a nurse, as a sweeper in the street, whatever work, it's all offered to you. Yat karoshi adashnashi. What is that verse? Yat karoshi. What is the full verse? Anyone knows?
Yat karoshi dashnasi yat jahosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat karushva
Madarpanam. Madarpanam. Arpanam to Krishna. Krishna arpanam astu. That's why in Pushti Marg, they say, in the Pushti Marg, they say, right? Krishna arpanam. Sri Krishna arpanam astu. Whatever they do after that, they say Sri Krishna astu. So Govinda, Tomara hridaya sada Govinda Vishram. Govinda is always resting in the heart of a Vaishnava. But Govinda kohena mora Vaishnava para. But Govinda, Lord Sri Krishna says that Vaishnava is my pran. We are talking about prana, right? In the Sattvika bhavas. The involuntary, the prana is out of whack. So this is Vaishnava's prana. That Vaishnava, Govinda is in Krishna's heart. Govinda is in devotee's heart. So Govinda feels so much joy with the affection of the devotee that Govinda is saying that my pran are Vaishnavas. They are so dear to. So this should be our aspiration in life. Somehow or other, by all the effort, Krishna, whatever effort we need to put, we should put. But we should get association of a Shuddha Vaishnava. Pratijay kori asha charanera dhuri narotame koro doya apanara bo. Prati janme. See here also how Narottam Das Thakur, he is the Acharampara. He knew even before meeting his spiritual, received the love of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from the Padma river. It is there in Narottam Vilas book and a couple of other books. He received it. And who was his spiritual master? Loknath Goswami. No other disciple. There was only one disciple for Loknath Goswami because he took a vow, I will not accept any disciples. But the affection of Narottam Das Thakur for his spiritual master, his eagerness was so much that his spiritual master said, I will accept only one disciple and it will be you. After you, no one. So such a great spiritual master, such a powerful mercy. And what is he saying? Prati janme kori asha. He does not think, our dear Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur does not think that he will go back to Godhead. He'll go back to Goloka in this life. So he's saying, Prati janme kori asha. Every birth after birth, I know I'm going to be here. I will do. He knows he is being utilized at that moment as an instrument of Krishna for serving the whole world. His whole village, I'm forgetting the name. Does anyone remember the name of the village that Narottam Das?
Kheturi Gram.
Jai Ho, thank you. Kheturi Gram, yes. The whole of Kheturi Gram was completely in love with Narottam Das Thakur. Everyone had become Vaishnava there. He knew he was being utilized as an instrument of the Lord to spread the love of Lord Chaitanya. But what is his personal consciousness for himself? Yes, all these will take mercy of Krishna. They are very sincere. They'll all go back to Godhead. But for myself, I'll have to spend a few more births. Prati janme kori asha. But birth after birth, what is my desire? Charanera dhuli. The dhuli, the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnava, I'll keep on my head. Narottamid korodaya. Please show mercy. What is the mercy? Apanara boli. What is apanar? Call me yours. Right? Translation says, please consider Narottam as yours. Consider me yours. This is the success of our life is, if a pure devotee, if a Shuddha Vaishnava considers that I am his property, I am his, I will do, he trusts me fully, right? Like Srila Prabhupada did what? Whatever his spiritual master said, he gave his life completely for the words of his spiritual master. If you ever get money, print books and preach in English. Young men like you should preach in English in the West. So what did Srila Prabhupada do? He did exactly that. Why? Because so that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is in his spiritual form as a Manjari in the spiritual world, will tell to Krishna, he is my man. He is my man. That is Prabhupada's consciousness. Nitya Siddha is appeared from the spiritual world. But even the Nitya Siddhas, they have this consciousness. So this is okay. So now we know what is the darshan. Ananda prema rase seidike purushe Krishna rase bhase. Hena se kare na kripa drishti atishaya para neha smriti karanatha kaya. Darshane pavitra karo, ei tomara gun. Chahena means to see. Kripa drishti, darshan. His glance was filled with such mercy that everyone, without exception, forgot their own bodies in ecstasy. Because Krishna consciousness does not play by the rules. And that's a fact. That's what he wants to do. And Vaishnava is in a picture, then rules don't apply. Rules apply to the last. Every T's have to be crossed and every I has to be dotted. Otherwise, you will get the opposite result. Why? Because that's what you asked for. Because it's a issue of a conditioned soul. Jnana mark, dry. But I don't want material world. That's all. But what about relationship in the spiritual world? Does not exist for, I just want to be alone. Just leave me alone. I don't want supremacy of somebody, just leave me alone. I just want to be liberated. All right. Klesho adhikataras tesham. Avyakta asakta chetasam. Avyakta hi gatir dehavad bhiravapyate. Very difficult. When that kind of impersonal liberation giving pleasure to Krishna's heart. He's such a loving Lord. Harm in building that relationship. Then work hard. Okay. Yogi. I want to be a yogi. It's not bad because, you do serve the Lord. Maybe for one of the 5 kinds of liberation. Nice. But when a Vaishnava is in picture, no rules apply. If Vaishnava sees, he should get devotion. Manifest. Right? Can we think of any examples in Lord Chaitanya? Lord Chaitanya just freely gave. Freely gave. Any examples?
Dhobi of Srivas, Mahaprabhu gave him freely.
Hari Bol. Jai. Yes. Dhobi of Srivas, right? Imagine you are just a dhobi. Of course, you are dhobi in Navdeep, so that's not ordinary. But you are a dhobi of Srivas Thakur. But he was given. Any other example? Who was
Dukhi.
Jai? That's the example I was thinking next. Yes, Dukhi. Dukhi became what? What was the name changed for her? Sukhi. Dukhi became Sukhi instantly. What was she doing? All she was doing was bringing the water pots. The Abhishek was done for Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Mahaprakash Leela. And Lord said, who is that who is bringing the water pots? Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur said, my dear Lord, she is a homemaid. Her name is Dukhi. So in previous times when, the mortality rate was high, so the kids didn't used to survive. So the parents, in order that the kids should survive, they used to give them like a opposite name, Dukhi. Her name will be Dukhi. 5 children for her. She may also die. So we'll give her Dukhi. We'll think, oh, Dukhi Bichari, she's Dukhi. Oh. So they will feel compassion. So the hope is for the parents or the community that because of that combined collective karuna, the child will survive. So that's why her name was Dukhi. Chaitanya, who is that? She is the maid. What's her name? Dukhi. Dukhi? From today, her name should be Sukhi. And she got Krishna Prem. Just like that. Why? Darshane Pavitra Karo. Every day she was seeing Srivas Thakur. Who is Srivas Thakur? Narad Muni. And she was being seen by the Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur thought, she's my maid servant. She serves my household. Got delivered. Then, any animals?
Shivananda Sen dog.
Yeah, Shivanand Sen dog. Shivanand Sen got a mercy on the dog. He fed the dog. He took him on the boat. Then the boatman said, no, I'm not going to allow. Dog cannot come. Dog cannot come on the boat. But then what happened?
The animals of Jharikhanda also, Prabhuji.
Yes, animals of Jharikhanda. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing kirtan through the forest of Jharikhanda and Darshane Pavitra Karo. Everyone was dancing and chanting in ecstasy. This should be our goal of life. Everything else we are doing for this. Somehow a Vaishnava should look at us with a compassionate eye and think that I am his. Apanara Boli. All right. Text 389. Ye bhakti vanchena yogindradi muni gane nityananda prasade se bhunje jane. By Lord Sri Nityananda Prabhu, relish the devotion that the best of the yogis and sages desire. What is the verse in Bhagavad Gita about the best of the yogis? Yeah, but what is the verse?
Yoginam api sarvesam.
Yes. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam sammata. This is what the yogis are wanting. What are they wanting? The best of the yogis. They look for bhakti. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam. Bhajate. They serve the Lord. They desire this. So because bhajan is the beginning, right? This end of the 6th chapter is beginning of the 7th chapter. But they relish the devotion that they still desire. That means their perfection. Bahunam janmanam te jnanvan mam prapadyate. Vasudeva sarvamiti. What is the perfection of yoga? Perfection of yoga is jnana, right? Yoga leads to jnana. Nahi jnanena sadrishat swayam yoga samsiddhas kalen atmani vindati. There is nothing pure as jnana, chapter 4. Tat swayam yoga samsiddhas. When you attain perfection of yoga, then you attain kalen atmani vindati. You attain jnana. But bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. Then they are prapadyate. Then what happens? Ye yatha mam prapadyate tam sate bhajamyam. You surrender to me in a certain mood. So that is what desired, that is what they got. Hasti samajana na khaile tina dina chalite na pare deha haya atikshina. If a person as strong as an elephant does not eat for 3 days, he will be able to walk and his body will become weak. If he fasts for 3 days, he loses the ability to, body becomes weak. Yeah. Which verse says living entities subsist on food?
Not bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhava.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Annad bhavanti anyad anna sambhava. And Krishna also says, Aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam deham ashrita pranapana samayukta pachami annam chaturbhujam. 4 kinds of food stuff Krishna helps to digest because it is required, so everyone has to eat. But if we don't, it's good. For one day, if you don't eat, it's good because that's called fasting. It detoxifies the body. Even as scientific research today, it's called autophagy. Autophagy is it eats up your cancerous, and body is so intelligent that it finds out all cells in the body and it'll eat it up and you will become healthier. So yeah, 1 day is good. 2 days, not bad. 3 days, okay. Some people can do that, but you won't have the strength to walk after that. You have to be sitting or lying down. You cannot. But then, okay, so why did this come here? So text 391. Eka shishu na kare ahara tathapi simha. Although each of those children did not eat for 1 month, they behaved like lions. So why did children come here? Who wants to answer this? Why did children come here?
They have fruited the trees before that.
Yeah. So this is section. That these were the children who were the darshan of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And they went into ecstasy. They all became sukhi. And they were uprooting Lord Nityananda Prabhu personally. And they behaved like lions. They were uprooting the trees. Hundreds of big men were not able to control them. Because they were in complete ecstasy. They had nothing to do with the bodily consciousness. They were not children anymore. They were the sakhas. Right? Even the Lord would tie him up. And they were laughing. Because they were in the sakha bhav. Text 392. He Shakti Prakashena Nityanandaraya Tathapina Bhuje Keha Chaitanya Mayaya. Such was the potency that was manifest by our dear Lord Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Yet by the influence of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's illusory energy, no one could understand. Chamatkar hoga, lekin vishwas nahi hoga. The mercy will be there, but it will not be manifest to those who are not pious. So we should keep ourselves fertile so we can see all this. E mata kata dina premanandara se gadadara dasera mandire prabhu vaishe. What a fortune. Nityananda Prabhu is residing in your home. In this way, Nityananda Prabhu stayed a few days in the house of Gadadhar Das, in the mellows of ecstatic love. Bahya nahi Gadadhar Dase Niravadi Haribala Balaya Sabare. Now this is the segue into the next section, which we are all going to study tomorrow. Gadadhar Das did not display external consciousness. Because what was his mood? What was the spiritual form of Gadadhar Das?
Gopi.
Gopi. He would always induce everyone to chant Hari. So, because he was not, and in the previous purport, in the previous time when this came, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur talked about that he was not dressed externally. And then I said that this was about the upper sampradayas. So we will just see one more slide. This is the last slide and then we are done. So I just wanted to cover this a little bit. So we are protected. Now, why should we know upper sampradayas? Why do we have to talk about this? About devotee, Krishna, devotional? Yes, we have to talk about. But just like with how dangerous it is, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, like that, we should also know what we should not become. Do we have to respect them? Of course, we have to respect everyone. Tranadapi Sunichena. We have to keep distance. In order to not get deviated and to follow our Acharya, to be a true Rupanuga, we should know what are the upper sampradayas. That is, what are the possible ways in which deviation can happen from the devotional path, even though externally they may appear like devotees. So there are 13 upper sampradayas. The first bullet has 4 and then the rest 9 is 13. And then I underlined one, which is Sakhi Beki. We don't have time to go through all this, but this will be in the recording, so you can read through. But basically, if I tell you in summary, all of this, the deviation happens in bhukti. That means you become, these can be considered like very initial stage of Kanishta Adhikaris, because they are not following the rules, right? Archayam eva haraye, pujam ya shraddhaya ihate, na tad bhakteshu, cha anyeshu, cha bhakta prakrita smita. So they are the neophyte devotees. They could consider like them, but you have to distance because they are not following the acharyas, panugas. They are not following Prabhupada. They are not following the rupa they were given. So either their deviation is in form of impersonalism. So through worship of Krishna, they want to attain impersonal liberation, or they are engaged in breaking the regularity principles, or they are too interested in power of magic, mysticism. And the Sakhibekis, the example that was given, they think that they are gopis and they dress as gopis even in male bodies. So that is what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was saying, that even though Gadadhar Das was fully realized in his transcendental constitutional position, but he did not dress like a gopi externally, because that realization is in the heart. That experience of Krishna's pastimes is in the heart. It's the manifestation of Leela is happening to the spiritual form. But you don't have to change your externals, because externally Vaishnava will not manifest. He will remain neutral, oblivious, disconnected. He cannot relate to this world like how we would ordinarily relate to this world. He does not relate with the people, the surrounding, the homes. All his interest is my Lord and giving mercy to others. Okay, so that was that, and that is the last verse. So I'm going to stop. Thank you, dear devotees. Thank you for your association. Any realizations or corrections are most welcome. I'll be very grateful.
Very well, Prabhu. Thank you so much for a very, very power pack class. I was just thinking, in one session, you have given us so much. And I would appreciate if I can get a copy of this PowerPoint presentation, because it has a lot of details even I wanted to put together. So please do send me the copy, Prabhu. Thank you for talking in detail about the rasas, the science of rasas, which you had done in the past, I remember. But it's not something that we remember forever. We hear it, we forget, we hear it, we forget. So thank you so much for bringing it up. And also, I like the discussion about, and finally about the upper sampradayas. This is something actually for like in a single place. So thank you so much for putting that also. And thanks, Prabhu. Your classes are very engaging, full justice to all the verses, and you make us think a lot. We can't, our mind, you don't give us any time for diversion. So thank you for that. Very inspiring class, Prabhuji. I know many people have many questions. We have Sunil Prabhu. You can take questions, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Beautiful class and wonderful PPT. And for the sang, you sang so beautifully. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you have mentioned in the class that in the association of a devotees, even we will float in ecstasy, in the pure association. Prabhu, but I have seen the devotees who are in the association of devotees from long time, but in them there's no change, no transformation. How do you see that, Prabhu?
So it may not manifest. I was hearing one class from His Holiness Srila Radha Swami Maharaj. He said that if you have associated genuinely with a Vaishnava, and if you have served him, you are going back to Godhead. There is no doubt about it. It may not externally, it may not be revealed, because in Hindi there is a saying in Braj, Chupana hai, chapana nahi hai. So I'll explain. Chupana means the realizations or the advancement that one has made, it doesn't have to be advertised. It has to be kept. It's a guhya, it's a confidential. It should be only revealed in confidential circles. So the devotees who have advanced, they may not reveal it. They may just continue behaving the way they are behaving. That is one aspect of it, right? So this is the positive aspect. And second, as I said, right, we have to keep ourselves fertile. Now, it is possible in the presence of an exalted Vaishnava, they are eating like me, they are sleeping. Oh, today they got a plate for Mangalarti. Today they're chanting, not that sharp. Today they were a little sleepy actually in the class. So then alert, right? So that is the alertness. We should be very careful around exalted Vaishnavas. So first prepare ourselves, then go close to the Vaishnavas and try to see whether do we have the ability to deal with the Vaishnavas of high grade. Because sometimes if it's very strong fire and we are not fiery, then it's better to take the heat from a distance, not go too close too soon.